The combat system is 90% of most games, the very core gameplay. If the combat is boring, no matter what features your game boasts, people typically won't play it for long. At a very early stage in Skyforge's development, we determined that we wanted to create a visually striking, dynamic, and intuitive combat system. Initially, we planned to use the classical control system, as in games like Warcraft, and then add in some elements of action games to that. It wasn't an easy task. We collected prototypes, played them, got new ideas, redid everything, creating new prototypes. The whole picture was still not coming together. We couldn't get the results we wanted. We looked at our competitors, at other genres, and then turned our sights towards consoles, Devil May Cry, Darksiders, and other similar games. Combo sequences, hits, evasions, and counterattacks, free movement, and overall fast-paced gameplay. These elements alone do not make combat automatically spectacular and fascinating. The most important thing is to make these elements fit together to form a complete picture, a single continuous movement. Only then does combat become like a theatrical performance, where the player is the director and actor at the same time. On our team, we have the opportunity to experiment and bring new ideas into play. For this, we work late hours, put our best efforts forward, and work on the weekends. Everyone on the team is empowered to implement new features, new ideas, either on their own or in groups. We call these our pet projects, and Skyforge's mouse look system was one of them. Generally speaking, mouse look is the ability to control the camera by moving the mouse. It's a familiar and straightforward concept for many games, such as third-person shooters, but in this case, mouse look is what we call the control system as a whole. By doing this, we were able to move combo attacks and most commonly used skills to the mouse buttons, thus freeing the keyboard somewhat. As a result, characters moved much more naturally, giving us the movement, the speed, and the flow we were looking for. When we considered non-target-based combat, it seemed very attractive. Nevertheless, it did have one serious drawback. It keeps players under constant tension, which is fine in a single-player game, where players typically only game for much more limited periods of time, but not in an MMO where you play every day. So we decided to use the best of both systems. You use mouse look, rotate the camera, dodge, and move fluidly around the battlefield. But we also kept the classic things like being able to select targets using tab. And we added another feature, Focus Target, which allows you to lock on a target for your spells. But not all classes in Skyforge are suited for combos. When we tried to create combos for ranged classes, it didn't go so well. For these classes, we employed other action features like charged spells. So, for example, with the Archer, you were able to use 8 different spells with just 2 mouse buttons. To make combat interesting, not only do you need to create good classes, but you also have to make sure enemies are more than just sacks of loot. In the end, we settled on a system where we have different types and classes of mobs. Our mobs usually come in packs, and each pack has different classes of mobs. Depending on the pack composition, we might have very different fight outcomes. For example, we have mobs with tons of HP that will crowd the player, interfering with their ability to fight. There are also monsters that are fragile, but able to cast insanely powerful spells. There is also another type of mob. These will require players to react to the creature's actions. It wouldn't matter what tactics you are going to use. Many of the powerful enemy attacks in Skyforge can be evaded. For this purpose, there are special abilities available to each class. The most common of them is a dash, which can be used by every class. However, enemies in Skyforge also have auto attacks. These deal guaranteed damage and cannot be evaded by dash. You're able to negate them by using certain class abilities and mechanics, but you will not be able to escape the attack. In classic MMO, there are a lot of interfaces that the player must interact with. We wanted to make the interface simple and minimalistic, so that the player could, above all, see the world around them and feel the combat. And we feel as though we managed to do that, because we want the combat to be the focal point of our game, not the interface. All of our iterations we performed to find our way for dynamic combat were tested in our UX lab. There we measured the player's pulse, the electrical resistance of their skin, and where they were looking on the monitor using an eye tracker. It's a very useful setup. It allowed us to receive almost instant answers to questions like whether the average player can use these certain combos, whether a particular mob's ability is noticeable and clear, if the ability bar is distracting, and if the player looks at it too often, or if they're worried about their class resource management. We wanted the player to focus mostly on the world, and so we watched the eye tracker very carefully. When people see our combat, they often ask whether the game will have gamepad support. I'll let you in on a secret. Yes, it will. Internally, we even have a working pet project build that you can play when you're using a gamepad, and we're thinking of completing implementation someday. With Skyforge, we were trying to create a game that we ourselves could enjoy, because we don't know any other way to make a good game. We put in a massive amount of effort to develop our combat system and continue to do so. We hope you'll enjoy it. Make sure to visit our site, where you can write on our forums, which we regularly read. See you in beta.